Well, good morning, guys. Doing something a little bit different today. Normally by, whoa, bouncing you guys off stuff. Normally by, trying to find the best thing. I'll talk to you in a minute.
And that is a nice bear. That's a nice smallmouth, dude.
There he is, I can see his breath.
Yeah. I can't believe that just happened.
It's
the last day of rifle season, and I just got one.
Okay, I stopped moving. That will make things much easier to talk to you guys. Doing something a little different today. Normally by this time, October 6th, my scouting is pretty much done. Had a gentleman reach out to me the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, now even before the moose hunt, who is going to be starting a company. I am going to let him tell you guys more about that, a company slash service. His name's Cory. I'll let him talk to you guys more about that today, but I'm gonna go check out his property today. He does a lot with food plots and they look really good, and he's interested in having us come out and kind of help support him, and in return he's going to let us on his property that he owns and the properties that he leases. So really looking forward to it. He hunts, from the sounds of it, he hunts a lot like me. We're going to talk a little bit more about strategies today, which we don't normally get into. I try to talk about it a little bit here and there without overdoing it, because I don't want to sound like a know-it-all. I don't want you guys to think I'm like a kid that just thinks he knows everything, because I do not. But one thing I did do growing up, hunting shows were very educational. Even though it was Midwest hunting, I was taking the strategies that they were doing and applying them to the big woods, and I did very well growing up because of that. Pinch points, funnels, things like that. Yes, they're not going to be as obvious in the big timber, but they're still there. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, what to look for and stuff like that. So I am going to go pull the gas out because it's done, and go meet up with Cory. We found him. Yeah. That's Cory. I told you about him.
Yeah, the old man.
Just got to Cory's house, and I gotta say, this is exciting. This is some of the prettiest country I've seen in a long time. Doesn't even feel like Maine. All the fields and stuff. So what are we going to look at?
The chicory and clover. There was some guys, he kind of got on me. He's like, oh, you shouldn't have mowed your clover and chicory. Well, you know, if you don't know botany or soil science, don't go by just with what you read. So what I did, I mowed it, and it came back real young and lush.
Yeah.
And now this is their preferred choice. They're pounding the tar out of this thing.
See, I was always told, I don't know about the chicory, but I was always told you should mow your clover a couple times a year at least, because it's that regrowth that they like.
Exactly. And it's been 3 weeks and the regrowth is there, and there's some alfalfa in it, and they're hammering it. They love sunflowers. They eat it when it's growing like it's candy. It's pretty wild. I did it like a break. But if I have to do a break again, I'll use Egyptian wheat. What I want to do next year is the sunflowers, sorghum, and cowpeas, because the cowpeas vine, and they'll vine up the sunflowers and the sorghum, and it's like incredible summer feed that just keeps on giving. The deer can't out eat it.
So is this the seed that you're going to be?
Yeah, my seed is coming. The company that's supplying with all my seed is a northern company. So that's what I wanted. It's going to be climatized. It's going to be set. The genetics are there. As people know, Maine's a potato place. Kennebec potatoes. They're bred for Maine. They can handle our climate. It's the same thing. We don't have those screeching summers that they have in the south. We have a cool summer, but we can also have a wet summer. Then you're dealing with blights, you're dealing with powder mildew. So some things you shouldn't even try growing in Maine, and there's some things that will just do incredible, like brassicas down south, come the rut. You know, they don't like the heat, they'll bolt. Where up here, brassicas were meant to grow in Maine. They can handle the cold. They'll go all the way into December without even blinking. And that is cool because your clovers are going to take that. Your clover and chicory are not going to take that severe cold of like the rut week or muzzleloader week. Your brassicas, whole different story. They can handle it and they keep getting better, especially when like your beets, turnips, sugar beets, radishes, the starches are real heavy in them. After they've been froze, refroze, froze, refroze, they turn to sugars. It's like the magic that happens to sour apples when they've been froze, refroze, froze, refroze on the ground and they get brown, like applesauce, high in sugar. Same thing. The starches convert and you have high sugars. And animals like sugar, just like us. You can see where they're starting to test them. See where they're starting to nibble on them? They haven't been frozen enough yet where they've enjoyed them. Oh, they chewed on that one.
Holy cow.
But here are the seed pods. They actually taste pretty good. Gotta try this. They're nummy.
Seed pod off a radish. Wow. No, then they taste a lot like a radish. For some reason I had like Indian cucumber in my mind. So here's the cool thing with Cory and the seeds. These are all radishes and these are not little radishes. Like, let me show you this one. I mean, that's a foot-long radish. But not only is he starting a seed company in the Northeast, which we don't really have a seed specific, you know, to our region, he's also going to be able to come out to your property, look at it, do pH tests, do soil samples, all that stuff to find what will grow best for you in your area. And I think that's pretty rare to have something like that, an opportunity like that. So instead of just going to Walmart, buying clover off the shelf that might not actually grow in your land, he might come there and say, you know what, chicory's your answer. Fit the right seed to your property, which is very, very important. So will they eat the tops when they've gone to seed like this?
They are, yeah. Yep. And what's funny?
Those seed pods, they must be eating.
Yes, they are. And when they go in there, they feel secure.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't see them now from my house.
That radish has got some little kick at the end of it, huh?
Yeah, it does, doesn't
Sticks with you. Yeah, they're all chewed off the tops down here in this corner.
Oh yeah, it does. It looks like a crazy lawn. There's sugar beets in here, purple top turnips, radishes. I have a little bit of wrap in there. Kale.
Now, is there like time frame where clover,
I think is good till like the first week of November, then it just can't handle the frost, to me anyway. There's other things that they're liking a lot better. Alfalfa burns out too on the frost.
Because it seems like, in my mind, there's a misconception about the clover as a cure-all, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? You know what I think it is? Farmers are growing it for so long, and people see deer in the fields, they think clover's the key. Clover's a part of it, but it's not the cure-all, not even close. I think it's hard for people to wrap their head around that you can put so much love, time, and money into something and then harvest it. It's kind of like a farmer raising the cow and then slaughtering it. I'm putting more in than I'm taking. Like, I figure between fertilizing of the apples, the 6 acres of fields, I'm probably pumping in 60 tons of food to pull out 3 or 4 deer. And I'm feeding way more than that. They'll start really piling in here after deer season because of all the tubers I have. Though I can't fathom that anything within 15 miles of here is going to starve. It's just not going to happen. I love to hunt deer. I enjoy deer hunting, but a healthy deer is a strong deer. You know, it has ability to possibly outrun a coyote, maybe even get away slightly wounded. If they go in with no fat reserves, not good, not good. And I know they're going to go into reserves here. There's no doubt in my mind that there's just too much food and they're eating too much. They're eating multiple times a day. So you got to look at it as you are giving. You are taking, but it's a skim that you're taking to what you're giving. Absolutely. And it's fun. I'm sitting in the evening having a coffee and watching them walk through the fields feeding. just leisurely feeding does, fawns, playing. It's a blast. It makes you smile. Some people find that hard to believe that you can do that and hunt, but to some people, I don't need to explain that. It is possible.
So we're headed deep into the woods right now, going to look at some funnels and pinch points, and we'll talk more about those when we get into them. But if you guys watch hunting shows on TV and you're seeing a lot of Midwest stuff, which is the majority of what's on television, but you can take what they're saying and apply it here as well. We're not going to have obvious pinch points and obvious funnels like they do between these massive cornfields that I'm standing in, but there is massive pinch points and massive funnels within the woods if you know how to read the terrain. It could just be an old cut line and a stream, but there's things you can look at that are like, the deer have to use this. There's no other way around but for them to go through this chute. And that's kind of what we're checking out today, are spots like that. So we are in a funnel right now. This one's a very obvious one in my eyes as far as if you're looking at a topo map. We got a big bog, big massive bog behind me. Cut cornfield over here. This cornfield next year is going to be much different. It's going to be alfalfa, I believe. But this strip of woods right here that runs in between it, the deer trails in here from that coming out of that bog to that cornfield are freaking nuts. Nuts. So you guys always hear me talk about deer being creatures of edges, and this is a prime example. This is the bog right behind me. We're in this funnel. I'll show you the deer trail that's running this edge 15 yards off the bog. The trails are coming out of the bog, and this trail is just parallel in this funnel, and it's been used heavily for many years. All right, we're back in some beautiful country. We got bog here, you can see, maybe see Cory in there. And it's two bogs that kind of like decent sized bog that pinches right down, and another decent sized bog that pinches right down. And there is a deer trail right at where those two pinch down. There is a deer trail right through the middle of it. It's the only way they can get through without going through the swampy and thick nasty stuff. Path of least resistance, and there's a trail. Imagine that. So I'll show you guys the deer perspective. This is the big bog right behind Cory. One big bog, another big bog, pinches down into like nothing right here. And the deer trail is right here. And it crosses, as you can see, right to that side very easily and in very shallow water. Pinch points, we have them. We have a lot of them. And before anybody gives us a hard time, we're not carrying corn. We just have trail cameras.
Yeah.
Now, how long do you leave your cameras before you check them?
As long as I can stand it. I like a week.
Yeah.
14 days is like the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like any sooner. I like it when I see there's like 45 to look at. It's like, ooh, Christmas.
Yeah. For any of you guys not from Maine that could be watching this potentially, 45 pictures in a couple weeks doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you got to remember our deer density isn't like it is in better states. So 45 pictures in a couple weeks, especially if they're not wind pictures and are actual deer pictures, about what you can expect and be pretty happy with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just got home. I gotta tell you what, that property, that property is pretty awesome. Cory, can't thank you enough, man, for reaching out to me. If you're watching this, thank you very much for reaching out to me. I'm very excited about the opportunity to not only go out there and hunt, but to help on the property as much as I can, hanging stands, putting in food plots. Also very excited. This guy, for you guys watching, is a wealth of knowledge about something that I'm just starting to get into. Always wanted to be into it, but as far as food plots and that kind of stuff goes, just an absolute wealth of knowledge. One of those guys that when he talks you want to listen because he's probably saying something that makes sense. Definitely knows his stuff, and I'm very excited to learn from him and apply what he's doing down there up here. So pretty excited, not gonna lie, really excited. Might be out there next week bow hunting for all I know. We put a tree stand up for me for bow hunting right now in kind of a staging area just off the food plots where there's some apple trees. So we put stand up for me there to bow hunt, and next year there's another piece of property that he's hopefully gonna get. If he gets that, or no, he already has it, but he's gonna do, it was that cornfield we were in today, but there's one little back pocket that he's gonna plant just for me for bow hunting. Yeah, it looks Oh man, I'm just overwhelmed with how amazing this property is. He has worked hard his whole life and he earned it, that's for sure. And I'm jealous of it because I want it really bad. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. This is gonna be a little bit different as far as a progression through things. We're gonna do a lot more videos on actually from scratch, how to plant food plots, what to do, what to test for, and matching the seed to the soil so that you get the best growth you can, as well as the upkeep that is necessary for food plots. He knows way more about it than I do, so I'm probably gonna be going down there a lot next spring to film him and kind of explaining what he's doing and the science and stuff behind it, because it's a lot more complicated than just throwing seed down, as far as if you want really healthy, lush food plots like he has with turnips the size of your head. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys are into these type of videos because we're gonna do them anyway. It just is what it is because it's what we're into. We're into managing deer herds, so we're gonna be doing a lot more this spring. But I hope you guys like it. I appreciate you watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.